an 8x8 from Michaels, the green label, which means it's a thick canvas and it is splined. So I've already put my pumpkin on there. Just wanted to visualize to make sure it would fit on this canvas, even though, you know, it'll fit on any canvas really. Just wanted to make sure I had space to do what I wanted to do. So the first thing we're going to do, ladies and any gents that might be out there, is put a little bit of color on our canvas. I like to put color no matter, I don't care if I'm only putting white. I like to put color on so that if there's any dirty spots or just icky spots, hang on, that I can make sure those are covered as well. So I'm gonna add, as usual, a little bit of white. Let's see if I can open that without getting it all over me. Ugh. So I'm gonna add a little bit of white, and I'm gonna spread that all around, and then I'm gonna come back and add a little gray. So I'm just going to spread that white around. I always like to start with white unless I'm doing something really dark, because these canvases are kind of grabby and I have too much paint as usual. Hey Cynthia. I'm going to scoop some of that back in the jar because these days you can't afford to waste, can you? You never know when you might get some more paint. Crazy pants. Okay, so I've covered the whole thing in white, and now I can add whatever color I want for my background, because I like my background for the most part to be muted. All right, so I have Slate Gray by Americana. Hey Catherine. Hey Patsy. So I'm just going to put a couple of dots. Well, that was more than a couple of dots, but I put some of that at the bottom, and I'm just going to use my paintbrush on its side to kind of blend that in. And I'm going to go up about a third of the way, getting lighter as I go. I'm going to get that off my brush. I'm going to wipe off my brush and get all that excess off, and then I'm just going to come up here and add just a tinge of that gray in a couple of spots. Barely can tell, but that's how we're going to start. That's it. That's all we're going to do. So I'm going to rinse this off, and I am going to hit this for 10 seconds with the blow dryer so that we can keep on keeping on. So let me grab my blow dryer, and I'm going to hit this just for a few seconds. So if you got your volume on super loud, cover your ears, turn it down. Here we go. That's not going to take but a minute. I got a little fingerprint or something. Almost done. I want to make sure it's dry so that when we plaster, it doesn't smear the paint. It's an 8x8 canvas. Voila. We are did. Okay, so that is our canvas. And you could use any color down here. You could use green. Thank you for sharing, Colette. You could use green, you could use gray, black, purple, orange, whatever you wanted. This is not obviously set in stone. So now I have modeling paste, but before I do, I want to make sure I stay in line. So I'm going to grab a watercolor pencil, and I want it to be kind of a light color. So I have all the colors watercolor pencil. I want it to be kind of a light color because I don't want it to burn through, so I think I'm gonna go with, this is kind of a bronzy color. And you can tell what color it is, oops, by looking at the end of the pencil. So this one is a sad little pencil and needs some love. So we're gonna give him some real quick with the handy dandy pencil sharpener. There we go, just one little twist. Okay, so I'm gonna just lightly sketch my pumpkin on, and so I'll know where to go and what I'm doing. Okay, so I want my the top of my pumpkin to be about 1.5 inches from the top. So I'm just gonna make that little mark. That way I'll have room for a stem. And I want it to come, I don't know, about right here. So I'm gonna use that. That was not a good mark. I'm gonna use that kind of as my guide. And we will just make an oval, like a big zero. All right? So just a big zero. Now I'm gonna come right to the very center again, and we're gonna come off of that, and we're gonna make our parentheses. So I'm just gonna come all the way down and then back kind of up into the bottom of the pumpkin. We don't want it to be flat, we want it to kind of curve. All right? So we'll do it again over here, and I might make that a little bigger. We'll fatten that sucker up a little. It's Corona. You know he's fat. So we'll do the same thing over here. So just sketching the pumpkin on just to make sure I know what I'm doing when I start doing it. Not that I'm gonna know what I'm doing. Okay, so then I'm just gonna go ahead and decide about my stem. It's gonna be one of those kinds. And we'll come out here. Boom. Okay, so there is our beginning sketch for our pumpkin. So here is what we're gonna do. Let me put my pencil up, put it in the proper place. So I am going to use modeling paste to sculpt my pumpkin. You can use whatever plaster you have. You can use modeling paste, Venetian plaster, you can use heavy bodied paint, Hey D, Sneaky Snake. So I'm gonna start with I'm gonna use a palette knife, okay? This is just a number 3 palette knife. I like it for this because it's a little bit wider than the long skinny ones. Hello from Selena. So I'm gonna use my palette knife and I'm gonna start on the outside edges, and I'm gonna try to make this a little thicker than normal, which means it may crack a little on the canvas surface, but if it does, it'll be all right, right? It'd be okay. So I'm gonna load my palette knife on the back side, okay? And I'm gonna come up here and I am going to just start laying in my plaster. And I want it to be thick, so I'm gonna go back to my plaster a couple of times. I want it to have some substance to it. And I also want to cover those lines. Make sure. I'm gonna turn that a little, it's just easier for me to manage. All right, I'm gonna come back up this way from the bottom. So it's kind of like icing a cake, very messy. All right, so we got that section done, but I do want to smooth it out just a little bit. It's really a little more textured than I want, but it's nice and thick. I don't know if you can see how thick that is. So I'm just going to take my knife and just smooth it. I need to turn this fan off. Menopause will have to wait because it's drying my plaster. So I'm going to smooth it down just a little, and That's good. Okay, so now we'll do this left section. Load your knife. We'll start at the tip and bring her down. Make sure you cover your pencil line. And don't try to be perfect, guys. Nothing in nature is perfect. I say this all the time, and it is the truth. Okay, so we'll just get that whole section done. Then we'll flatten it down when I get to the end. So tomorrow we're going to do this, and then we're going to let this dry. And tomorrow we are going to turn our pumpkin into animal print. It's going to be super fun. So make sure you come back tomorrow. I'm not sure again what time, but I will let you know. I'll give you at least an hour's heads up. So if you don't follow my page or get notifications, you might want to change that. Just go up to the where it says like this page. I don't know exactly. It's not, the text not my thing, but you can turn it on where you get like in my news feed. So you'll be able to tell when I'm live. So there's our two outside sections. See those? They're pretty cool. So don't mind the texture too much. Just, I wanted it to be a little smooth, but not too much. And there's like something there that is icky. So let's fix that. Okay, so now we'll do the center. Okay, so I'm going to start on the left side, and I'm going to make sure that it's obvious that this piece is separate. So you want to have a ridge, and we may have to come back and hit that again just to make sure that the ridge is on the right side. But I'm going to fill in the center, and then we'll micromanage it a little because I think I did it backwards. So we'll fill that in. I need a little more dimension. So I think I'll come back and I'm going to get just a little bit on the side of my knife. I'm going to come right here on this section, and I'm just going to smush that down a little so it creates that ridge. See that ridge there? See this ridge that it creates to separate the center from the outside section? And we'll do the same on this side. I want to press this down a little. We'll follow the pumpkin section, and then we will come back over here and do the same. Follow it around. And voila, okay? So there is your sculpted pumpkin. No big deal. It's just a couple of parentheses. I'm gonna fatten this up just a little bit in the middle. It's probably gonna crackle. I've got so much, but that's okay too. I don't mind a little crackle. I just want it to be super dimensional. There, that's probably a 1/4 inch thick there, but that's okay. All right, so now I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of plaster. Yeah, yes, it is better to do that, Judy. If you're working slow, it's best to put some in a bowl and work out of your bowl because I'm about to put the lid right back on my plaster. And I'll tell you something else you should do too, is my bucket is about half empty. So what I like to do when it gets to that point is take a plastic bag from Kroger, Hobby Lobby, wherever, but you want to make sure the printed word is on the inside. because if you put it in your bucket with the printed word on the outside, it's going to stain your plaster. So make sure the printing is on the inside, and then you take that plastic and you put it into your bucket and tap it down a little bit into your product, and that is going to keep your product from drying out when it gets about to the halfway point, and then it's hard to use. So that will keep it nice and moist. For everyone who hates that word, that will keep that nice and moist for your next project. So I have a little teeny bit of plaster on my little knife. So I'm going to, I closed my bucket, didn't I? I'm going to just put a little bit of that plaster on my stem. I'm gonna have to steal some since I closed my barrel. Put a little bit of that plaster on the stem. Hang on. I gotta steal some from here. Just to give the stem some dimension as well. And the crustier the better, I say. The stem, I like them super crusty. So, that is it. Let me see, make sure all my penciling is covered up. Put those in the water, and this. Yes, Dana, you can use any size canvas. This is just what I had available. You could use whatever size you want for this, and you know, just make your pumpkin bigger. So this is our step 1 of our animal print pumpkin. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to let this dry overnight because it's gonna take a hot minute, because that's, look how super thick that is. I mean, I really gave it some plaster. So we're gonna let this dry overnight, and then tomorrow. So this is what I ended up with. So what we did, we painted our little background, put a little gray on the bottom, then we used modeling paste to sculpt our pumpkin. Okay, and then I got a little antsy, and yesterday I put size on the pumpkin, and I was going to foil it with this spectacular Cheetah-licious foil. Well, it didn't even, hey Kelly, it didn't even, like, I think it's the, I'm gonna blame it on the sinus infection or whatever it is I have. But I didn't even think about painting it black. And of course, once we tried to put the foil on, it's super textured, so it wasn't going down in all the crevices. And so it was a hot mess. It looked awful. You just think it looked pretty. It didn't. It was a hot, stinking, ugly mess. So I took the liberty of letting that size dry and painting the pumpkin just black. And I used like a taupey color for the stem. So we're gonna start over, okay? Clean slate, I hope. It might still, it might still turn into a stinky hot mess, but you know what? If it is, there'll be part 743 of the pumpkin, animal print pumpkin. Apparently this is gonna turn into a 5-day challenge. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to use to cover my pumpkin is a foil size, okay? And foil size comes in lots of different brands. A lot of the people who sell foil, if you're in the Shattered Circle, Rima Bashara is in the Shattered Circle too, and she sells these foils. She sells all these wonderful foils, and so get in contact with her, and she has a foil size as well that is like a small container, not this big mama jama. And so hopefully I'll last through the live. So anyway, we're going to use a size, and it's a sticky size, and you just brush it on and you wait a few minutes, and then the stickiness of it pulls the imprint off of the foil, okay? So we're gonna give that a whirl. I am going to turn the camera down to my little black pumpkin. I almost like him just black. Isn't that cool? The texture would cover the design up unless you use clear texture. It would probably been more helpful if I just painted the pumpkin instead of making it textury. But I was trying to do something. I was trying to do something a little different, and this thing may have 40 layers of love by the time we're done. Who knows what's gonna happen next? So I'm gonna flip, and we're gonna go down to the table. So here we go. Let me get myself situated. Make sure we can see. Excuse me. I need to take a sip. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I am going, this is just black paint, and the stem is actually butter pecan. Okay, so it's just a taupe and a black I've covered the texture with. So now I'm going to, woohoo, I don't want to shake it, but I want to make sure it's mixed. And I am going to just put a little bit of this on my plate. That was a little bit more than I intended, but that's okay. Joanne, we just got started. So all I did, Joanne, was paint the pumpkin black. I covered up that hot mess we made yesterday. And it does look kind of cool, doesn't it? So even if it doesn't transfer all the way and we only get some of these cheetah spots, I ain't gonna be mad at all because I do kind of like the way it looks. And then we're gonna add a little bit of this gold to the stem. Good heavens, I sound ridiculous, don't I? I really don't feel as bad as I sound. I think it's my sinuses giving me fits, so I'm hoping that's what it is. That and lack of sleep, which is the story of my life. Okay, so I'm just gonna use a brush. I'm actually gonna use something bigger than that because that'll take 3 days and 6 nights. I'm gonna use just a little bit of a larger paintbrush, and we are going to just cover this with size. Now this is clear. It looks white on the plate, but it is gonna dry clear, and we'll be able to tell when it's dry because it'll be clear. See, apparently my brain is not working that great either. So when it dries, it's sticky, okay? So that's what you want. So you normally let it dry for about 15, 20, 25 minutes, depending on what size you're using. As always, you need to follow the directions on the product that you're using. And it will stay sticky for about 24 plus hours, depending on the size you're using. And so you'll still be able to put the foil on within that time frame. So make sure whatever size you get, you read the directions because they are not all created equal. So this is just size, and it's starting to make the pumpkin look a little purpley, but it's just because of the clear, whitish colored. It's gonna turn clear. It looks white now, but it's just the white on the black that's making that color. It's gonna dry perfectly clear. I need to turn that fan up. And then we're gonna make attempt number 4,700. I don't know, this one's been a little bit of a mess, but it's okay. It's okay. Just goes to show you, none of us are perfect. I make boo-boos too. If y'all could see the mess on the table in front of me, you'd know. I think I posted my table full of broken glass that shouldn't be broken, where I tried to cut some strips for the boot camp kit so I could put some more on the website. And 3 sheets out of 3 entire sheets. Now that's $8 a sheet, mind you. 3 sheets, I got 1 stinking strip. So I had to go back to Hobby Lobby and buy more glass. So hopefully that won't happen again, or I might have a tantrum. Okay, so we're gonna let this sit. And see, I got way too much and I don't want to waste that. So I'm gonna scooch it back in to my container. Because these days, art supplies are a commodity, aren't they? You don't want to be wasting your art supplies. You might not get any for a hot minute. Okay, so what I used, just to show you one more time, is ducks. And this is a water-based size, so you can clean your brushes with just soap and water. Again, whatever size you get, you need to follow directions. It might not be a water-based size, whatever. But I think, Rima, correct me if I'm wrong, the size that you sell with your foils, is it water-based? Probably is. Goodness gracious. Let me have a sip. So this needs to dry for a few minutes. So I'm going to try to push it. Normally, if I was doing a piece of art for a customer or to sell in the store or something like that, yes, it is. It's just smoother there, so it doesn't look like it is. I would not force this dry, okay? I would let it dry naturally, but for this purpose, I'm going to see if I can get it to dry a little bit faster, and that'll probably make it worse. That'll probably make it not want to stick some more. So we're gonna just blow the fan on this cute little pumpkin for a few minutes. So Betty says, cutting strips is a crapshoot for me. Some days I can get 30. Hey girl, me and you both, and I've been doing this 10 years. Yes. So I did something different this afternoon when this morning I had 3 sheets of glass that I gotten at a different Hobby Lobby. And I only got 1 piece out of 3 entire sheets. And I was so mad. I was so mad and impatient, and I was tired, and my throat hurt, and all that stuff. So I went to the Hobby Lobby, and I got 3 more sheets of glass, and I cleaned it first on the smooth side, because every side has a smooth side and I'm trying to grab a piece. Every piece has a smooth side and a texture side. Okay, so on this one, for example, this is the smooth side, and you can kind of look at it at an angle, and then this side is more textured. So what I did was clean the smooth side with glass cleaner, and then I took WD-40 and I squirted it on a paper towel, and I covered the entire sheet of glass with WD-40. That's a little trick I learned from a glass guy. Not sure why I went through 3 sheets of glass before I remembered to do that. But then I got the entire sheet was cut except for, I think maybe 3 or 4 pieces. So I did get 1 sheet cut, and I didn't have to have a tantrum. That's right, Michelle. It's exactly what I did. And listen, no squeaky chair either. So yeah, I used the WD-40 on the glass and on my chair. So try that if you're really struggling. And remember to maintain pressure from the top all the way to the bottom. Don't let up. Because sometimes I think, especially if you're pulling down toward yourself or when you're pushing away, you let up off that pressure at the end. And that's really the most important part of the score to me, because if you don't get that end inch or 2, then it's going to split off. So let me see if I can answer some more questions while we're waiting on this to dry. It's getting there almost. A few more minutes. Where do you get the ducks? I ordered mine off of Amazon. They don't have it at craft stores. This is like a professional use product for leaf and foil, but Rima Bashara, who is right under you or right above your question, she sells the foils and the size, so you can message her and she will get you taken care of. So Rima, do you have an Etsy store, or do you just sell word of mouth? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that WD-40 really came in handy. Yeah, Betty, the wine helps too. Even though I haven't had much wine lately. I can't drink wine when I don't feel good. When it does it, yes, that's what I do too, Judy. When you're cracking it with your pliers, let me get a piece and see if I can show you. Well, my pliers are elsewhere. No. So if you've scored your piece and you're at the end where you ran off the edge, these are my big fancy pliers, but if you put that line right on your score and gently squeeze, and it doesn't crack, or like just with a light squeeze, if it doesn't like break, flip it around to this side and try that way, because a lot of times it just needs that pressure on both ends and it'll break right off. And it says run the score up and down the glass once. No, yes, only once, Vicki, because if you get in the wrong place the second time or even move over a fraction, then you've ruined the whole cut. So you can only score one time. You get one chance to get it right. Yes, that green glass came from Hobby Lobby. Let's see. Is it hard to paint cheetah print? No, it's really super easy. And we're gonna do that too. I'm gonna flip this upside down and try to get that little piece. So it's not hard at all to paint cheetah print, and we'll do that hopefully next week or the week after, depending on my level of wellness. I'm actually supposed to go to Dollywood next week with some of my business friends for a little conference that my girl Heidi is putting together. So everything will be dependent on whether I'm well or not, because I'm not gonna leave the house if I'm not. Okay, so Rima is word of mouth, so if you need foil or size, you'll have to just message her. Let's see, yeah, never. Yes, Betty. After you use it, what I do is just take rubbing alcohol and on like a terry towel and just wipe them off, wipe them off, wipe them off. You can even use the wipes that Gina makes for us. But yeah, you'll want to get the oil off for sure. Okay, let's see. It's just got a few more little dots. See right there, a little bit of white. So I'm going to take a few more questions. Sorry, but I wanted you to see the whole process, but it does take a hot minute to dry. So I'll just hold this right directly on that spot and see if we can't get that dry. So any other questions? So I'm going to show you a couple of the foils that I have. I have like a little sample pack of textures, and they're not really textured, obviously. They're faux textures, but I do want to show you. They do have a plethora of just solid colors, but I want to show you a couple of these. This one is called Copper Green Slade, and it is so pretty. I have to unpeel it. Hang on. This one is so awesome. I love foils. I don't know if you noticed, but look. Can you see that? How pretty that is? It looks like patina copper. Super, super pretty. Okay, and so then there's one here that looks like wood grain, like the old station wagon dash. And here's some silver. It's like a matte silver. There's so many pretties. And this one is like a copper patina. Can you see the green? I want to unroll that one because it's one of my favorites too. So I'll show you what it looks like. Hang loose, Hannah. So you can get these. Rima, do you sell sample sizes or just bigger sizes? Because most people sell. Look at that. Is that not super cool? Love it. Phyllis, I just sprayed some WD-40 on a napkin or a paper towel and rubbed it all over my entire glass piece before I cut it to make it slick. Look at that. So cool. Yes, Carrie, it makes it easier to cut the glass. So when I was living in Georgia, I was struggling with the thicker pieces of glass that I like to cut. And I was trying to show you. Look, see, look at this shiny gold. I was struggling with some of the bigger, thicker pieces of glass. And so I went to the glass company and asked the dude, what am I doing wrong? And one of the things was when you're cutting thicker glass, you need better running pliers, okay? And that's why I bought these. These are running pliers similar to the ones that you purchase with the little plastic nips on them, but these are heavy duty and they're really wide mouth, so they are really good for larger pieces of glass. But he also told me to run WD-40 on the glass if I was on the struggle bus. So I want to show you this last one. Actually, it's this because I just peeled off a piece. That's super cool too. It's kind of crackly. Okay, so let me see. Off topic, but have you ever had issue with resin over the top of metallic paints? So sometimes it wants to sis. You really need to let metallic paint dry or it separates, okay? It'll start to separate and make little tiny pockets of no resin. But sometimes it's going to do that anyway, and most of the time I just walk away and say, yeah, it is what it is. But if you really, 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 really want it to be perfect, you can resin over it a second time, and it'll cover those pockets. On YouTube, short video on cutting strips is dated 2013, yeah. Rima, it's contact info. We'll post it. You can, Sandy, you can put it directly on the canvas, but the canvas is textured. And do you remember how much problem I had yesterday with the texture highs and lows? It kind of is the same for canvas. So when I, like my shoes and purse piece, that's what I used this leopard print for previously, for the little shoes. And I had to foil it twice because the canvas soaks up the size and it makes it hard to transfer. So, oh gosh, second patina one, weathered copper. I'll pull the sticker off. Weathered copper. No, they aren't, Robin. It's a sheet. And it comes in a roll. These are just samples, but it'll come in a roll depending on how much you buy. This is like the 1 foot sample. And so you'll get a thick roll depending on what you order. So it's just an entire sheet, and you press it down into your size and use a brush. I have never used a neti pot. No, where would you get one? Oh, Gloria, sit down, love. Lay down, do something. Bless your heart. Okay, this is still wet right there, but I think what I'm gonna do is get a brush, and I'm gonna try to soak up some of that wet, just so it's not gooey. And then we're gonna move on. Okay, so I have some remnants of the cheetah, and we're gonna try this again. Now, what I'm gonna try to do is do a little bit at a time. Instead of covering the whole piece, I am gonna try to do a little section at a time, so I have a little more control. Yeah, that piece is used up. We'll throw that away. But let me cut this. I gotta turn this fan off. It's blowing my foil. So I'm going to cut off the good parts. These scissors are awful. What is going on here? And you can just tear it too. Once you got a little cut, you can just tear. I said a boom, chicka boom. So I am going to start with one side, and then we'll see what happens. This is kind of like yesterday. Everybody hold your breath. Everybody hold your breath. So I'm just going to put it right here on my pumpkin. I'm kind of pressing it in. And I'm going to use this wallpaper brush. Still didn't find my nail brush. But I'm going to use this, and I'm just going to scrub it in. I'm going to keep off of this because we don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to scrub and see what happens. We shall see. Let's see if I can use something different. This brush is terrible. You really need something stiff. A stiff bristle brush. My nail brush was perfect. Oh, look. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh, I love it. That looks great. Okay, let's do the other side. Actually, I missed a spot on this little piece, so I'm going to come back and just do that piece again. I'm going to use my finger a little bit. See, the black background made a huge difference. Hang on. Oh my goodness, way better. So let's do the other side. Let's do the other side. Break on through to the other side. All right, I'm gonna do what I can. So I'll start there. I'm gonna press it in with my fingers first. And we'll scrub it down. This brush is not really as stiff as a brush as I needed, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. I call that. Oh, I know. Uh-oh, I don't have enough foil there. Hang on, we'll come back. Well, it's definitely working. Hang on, let's come here. You have to make sure your foil, you can see where it's used, like right here, where it's used. So you want to always be in a spot where there's lots of color showing through, like right there. So we're going to go here, put that back down, scrub. It's really not this hard if you're not working over super heavy texture. It's not quite this difficult. I just made it harder because, you know, why not? Why not make things harder? Okay. Woo, I like it. I'm going to come up here and add a little right there. I'm just going to use my fingers. I don't want to get it on that stem. OMG. Okay. Let's see. I have a nice big section here. So I'm going to go right in the middle. Oh, let's do it this way. We'll go right in the middle, press down with our fingers. Yeah, I don't know what happened to me yesterday, Rima. I know that. I've been using foils for a long time. And, yeah, it's just one of those days. One of those days. Scrub, scrub, scrub. And you'll start to see it lifting off of the backer. So just keep scrubbing. Use your fingers. This is better. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. All right. Let's see. Woo! Look, I love it. Oh my goodness. I super, super, super love it. I'm going to try to get a little something right here. So you can just come in any spot that If you want to add more, and just use your fingernail or a tiny brush, something still, and push some of that color in. You do here. This is spectacular. That's right. And we were going to do it till we got it done, no matter what it took. So let me get in here. Yes. We're going to be doing a couple more animal print things too, so you guys stay tuned. Hopefully it'll go a little smoother. So for the stem, I want to use this gold crackle. It's super cool. Can you see that? How kind of it looks crackled? I'm going to turn this upside down. I'm also going to get some of that dust off. So I'm going to do the same thing with this gold. I'm just going to press it in with my fingers. Then I'll use the brush. Get it down into the crevices. Use my fingernail. It's much easier to do. Yes, I've done it over pumpkins too, if you don't put a heavy texture on. So yeah, that was my downfall, but you know what? We all live and learn, don't we? Oh, look at that. That is spectacular. Hang on, we'll get some down in that crevice. All right, let's get the dust off. Hang on. Look at that. I'm trying to get it in the right place. Hang on. That is so awesome. I stinking love this so much. Now I'm wondering, what should we do with it? Should we even add glass? Should we pour resin? Should we add something to it, or just pour resin and let it be like it is? It really needs something, but I don't know. What do you guys think? What should we do? I love it just like it is. I do. Oh, you know what would look really good too is if you just painted the edges gold, like the color. That would look super pretty, and just leave it as it is. I don't know. What do you think? I love this. This is super cool. See? And it just took some minutes, didn't it? It just took some patience and, you know, trying and thinking about what you're doing instead of just flying by the seat of your pants like I do sometimes. You think clear or black, or what do you think? I have some clear. Also have a little bit of gold, or this is champagne, platinum, or clear. I don't know. Let's do, yeah, I think so too. I'd have to seal it if I didn't resin. So somebody said a leaf. Yeah, I don't think I really want a leaf. I don't want like anything green. I want it to be monochromatic. So I don't think I'm going to add a leaf unless I do like that. That's a gold leaf. So we could put some of this platinum down at the bottom. Ooh, let me see if I got some vitrograph that'll work. We'll just do this. Hang on. Let's see what we can do. What you think? I'm kind of digging this. My kitty cat's crying. Can you hear him? He's very sad. He's very sad today. What do you think about this? Yay or nay? I kind of am digging it. It's different. I know it's not a pumpkin leaf. So all the pumpkin people out there who want to fuss at me about it not being a pumpkin leaf, they'll just give somebody else a rest, won't it? Just give them a rest from being abusive to somebody else. So I'm thinking I love this. So let's look at the vitrograph. Let's see what I have. Super cool, isn't it? I think I'm going to have to make more of these. So Rima is sending me some more animal prints, and we're gonna do some more. Probably not pumpkins. I'm definitely doing some more pumpkins. I said this was my last ever this year, but I'm thinking that's a fib. What do you think? Do you like the gold thing? Give me some. So I can't really read your words right now, but give me some thumbs up if you like this little piece I stuck there as a faux fakey leaf. You like that little piece up there, a little added something? Yeah? Yeah, awesome. Okay, let's look at Vitrograph. Where is my Vitrograph? Over here. Okay, hang on. Let me grab it. I've got a bunch of colors, but I'm not sure exactly what I have that might look good. Oh. Got this color, but it's kind of a taupey color. I'm not sure I like that for this. I have blue. Oh, look. Looky. I know you can't see. I know. But I actually, I just dumped it upside down. Hang on. I'm having a disaster down here. I have clear. And I just stepped on a piece, dagnabbit. I have clear. That might work. Look. Let's move these. And look at the clear ones. Should we use clear? Maybe like this, coming out. Oh, look at this piece. Can you see that? Oh, put another leaf. Let me see. I think I'm gonna break that right there. I'm gonna break it. So I'm gonna use my nippers and just pinch that right there. I'm gonna put this piece right here. And then we'll put this one right beside it. Loving this. I know it's hard to see, but I promise you it looks fantastical. We'll put this piece. I think we'll move this one over a little. We'll let this one overlap. Okay, I want to hold this up. I want to do one more piece because I like odd numbers, and I know you can't really see, but after we resin and I can take a picture, you'll be able to appreciate it more. So let me find one more piece of clear. That's super cool. I just threw it across the room. This one is super cool. Can you see it? Wish you could see it. Let me see if you can see it on there. Can you see the shape of it? No? Okay, let's see. Yes, I'm gonna break it right there just with my nippers. And we'll put this one on this side. Oh, yes. Yes. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. So I guess it's time to resin. Let me see. Where'd I put my gold? Let me see. And there's not another piece big enough to be a leaf. So we're gonna go with the one, because these are all small now. That was a fluke to have one that big. So let me grab my blocks. We're gonna mix up some resin. How about that? This is so cute. We took a hot mess and look what we made. Is this not adorable? Oh, I love it. Love. Okay, so we've elevated. Now let's glove up. I'm about to have to take my shirt off. I'm burning up. I'm either cold or hot. There is no in between. All right, so I'm gonna put my gloves on. This is way crooked, isn't it? My phone's crooked. It's not the art. And we're gonna resin it, and then we'll see really what it looks like. So let's see. I'm thinking 1 ounce total is plenty. So let me get my little baby cups. We'll get my little babies. It did turn out, didn't it, Lisa? So we'll get 2 little baby cups. From hot mess to success is right. So let's mark our 1/2 ounce line because when you're blind and old, it's hard to see. So we'll mark that 1/2 ounce, and then we'll mark that 1/2 ounce. I am super excited about this now. See, and I was dreading it. I was like, if this doesn't go right today, I just can't even. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done for the week. Is this not cute? This foil is called Cheetah-licious. And if you find the name Rima Bashara on this page in the comments and message her and tell her you want some. She doesn't have them loaded on her website yet, or I would give you a link. So she's working on that, but just like all of us, she's trying to do 16 things at once. And sometimes you just run out of time and energy. So that was a 1/2 ounce of hardener. Yes, I'm very pleased with how this turned out. 1/2 ounce hardener, and now we'll do a 1/2 ounce, and this is probably way too much. So I have other things. I have a couple of crosses behind me or in front of me to pour. I don't know why it's freezing up. It hadn't froze on my side yet. And usually it does on mine too. Hey, Catherine. So that was a 1/2 ounce of resin. So we have a 1/2 ounce of resin and a 1/2 ounce of hardener. And I'm just going to pour these in a cup that I've been using for about a month. It actually has about a 1/4 inch of dried resin in the bottom. And is it spazzing? I don't know what to say. I'm gonna make sure there's not any goofiness down here. I'm gonna slow down a minute so maybe it can catch up. Are we back? Are we froze? Is it not gorgeous? I can't wait to resin it and so we can see how fantastic it is. So I'm gonna pour my 2 parts into my cup. I'm just gonna scrape them in using my little handy dandy makeup tool. Best tool ever. So there is my 1/2 ounce of whatever it was, resin. And now, what in the what, man? It's sunny here, so I'm not sure what's going on. The interweb's losing its mind. The whole world's losing their minds, so I don't even know. I can't explain it. So I'm scraping both parts, 1/2 ounce of resin, 1/2 ounce of hardener into 1 cup. And I'm pouring it into another cup because this is a 1 ounce cup, and that would just be more than this little cup could handle. It would be full to the brim and super hard to mix. So I'm going, Reba, am I frozen again? Come back to me. Good job, Gloria. I don't know. Mine hasn't frozen yet. Oh, now it's frozen. Broadcast interrupted. Back? This is so annoying. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what to say. Are we back? Are we back? I'm going to move this a little closer to me. Are we back? Okay, thanks, Catherine. So I'm going to mix for 3 minutes. Rima, can you time me? And I promise I'll pay attention. But I'm going to stir for 3 minutes. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Gail. I'm going to stir for 3 minutes. And here's something super important, guys. Once you get your part A and your part B in 1 cup, you have to stir for 3 minutes if you're using art resin. Now, if you're using some other resin, I don't know what the directions are, but you need to follow the directions on whatever product you're using. You also need to scrape your sides as you stir so that if any one part is stuck to the side, you're intermixing it. So think of it this way. Think about pouring a box cake into a bowl. And then you add your liquid ingredients. You add your eggs, you add your milk, you add your butter, whatever, your oil. And you stir and stir and mix and mix and mix. But when you get that bowl and you start dumping it into your pan, it always has some little chunk of dry cake mix on the side, right? So this is what you're trying to avoid because it works the same this way, okay? So you scrape the bottom, you scrape the sides consistently for 3 minutes while you're mixing the resin to try to avoid that dry bit of cake on the side. Yeah, my cache stays cleared, honey. I don't think it's me. It might be my internets because we're janky here and they're working in the area trying to put in C Spire or something. So they're jacking with our internet anyway. And I'm on Xfinity and they knock on my door 100 times a day. I don't know. I don't know if I'm here or not. I'm just going to keep stirring because I got the resin going. I know it's the longest 3 minutes of your life. Oh. So we're just going to stir and stir some more. And then after we're done stirring some more, we'll stir a little bit more. So if you are having, what? I don't know, guys. I got nothing. I'm just going to stir. I'm just going to keep going and hope that everything's all right. Thanks, Rima. Because I can't stop now. I can't stop and wait on you. I have to keep going. Stir, stir. Scrape the sides. Scrape the bottom. Scrape the sides. Scrape the bottom. I don't know. I got nothing. Didn't know, Reams. Usually it says, if it's me, it'll say broadcast interrupted on my screen, and it has done that once, but just once. So, surely 3 minutes is up. And I'm just going to keep on keeping on. That's right, Cynthia. I don't know what's happening. Internet's losing its mind. 3 times. I don't know. Time's up. Okay, so I'm going to start with my glass, as always. I see I have a little something there. Got a little something here that isn't supposed to be in the party. Not sure what that was, like some debris. And make sure we don't have any party crashers. Then I'm just going to use my same stir stick and I'm going to drizzle over all my glass. Make sure it's all covered really nicely because we want this piece to be perfection. I love it. For something that was such a hot mess yesterday, it turned out pretty good, didn't it? Yeah, Rima was yesterday, she was like, why didn't you paint it black? I was like, stop asking me questions. I don't know. I'm crazy that way. Literally didn't think about it until I started putting the foil on. And then I was like, what in the world is wrong with you? Lost your mind. Lost it. Because I knew better. You never just put foil on white. Unless it's white foil, I guess. So I'm covering all that glass down at the bottom. Notice I'm drizzling just small amounts. I'm not drowning the resin or drowning the glass with resin. I'm not overusing. I'm actually just putting enough on that it's kind of running out the edge, and here I am pulling it down to the edge. Okay, and now I'm going to do my little vitrograph pieces. I want to make sure they're covered really nicely because that helps them, that gives them strength and makes them less likely to break because they're very fragile. So we'll be very careful with that. Make sure they're nice and covered. Do that one. Ooh. Cover it really good because that's a teeny little skinny piece. Let's do this. Y'all, I don't know what's going on with the interweb. I don't know if it's me. It has to be me if it's affecting all y'all, but I don't know. I don't know what it could be. I did pay the bill. It's automatically deducted. Who knows? It's all these school kids homeschooling. They're all on Zoom. They're all Zoom calling all their friends. So I'm going to kind of tuck in, get in there, make sure that piece of vitrograph is sitting in resin really nicely. Then I'm going to come up here and get this little glass piece. Cover it really well. Make sure he sticks. And then we will just do this. We'll add some resin. That was inappropriate. We'll add resin to the blank sides, to the top. And this 1 ounce is about right. I probably could have mixed a little less, but it would have been pushing it. So let's see. I'm going to see if I can scrape all this out. And here's something else you need to think about too. When you get to the bottom of your cup, if you just start scraping out everything on the sides and you haven't really mixed very well, then you're going to be pulling into your piece some unmixed resin. So try to avoid that a little bit if you can. Avoid just scraping down to the last little tiny bit down your sides, and just kind of use what's in the bottom. That way you have a least likely chance of intermixing some unmixed parts. All right, I'm going to use my hand because there's so much texture here. I'm just going to use my hand, smear it around. This is super cool. Thank you for the sprinkles. So I'm going to make sure it's all in my texture. Oh my goodness. I know this is hard to see because I have clear glass on this black leopard cheetah-licious pumpkin. But I'm telling you, it's spectacular. Telling you for a fact. It is super spectacular. All right, get back up there. All right. All right, I think we're done. I am going to hit this. I'm going to look at it from a couple of angles first. Make sure it's covered. See, there's a spot right there that's not. I'm just going to turn it and look at it across the canvas. See, there's a spot there. Let the light reflect on it, because then you can see any of those skippies. See, there's right there. All right, so I'm gonna take these gloves off, and I can salvage these. So I'm gonna wipe this off on a paper towel first. Let's see, I'm frozen again. What the what, man? What the heck? So annoying. I have the fastest you can get because I knew I needed that for doing lives and such, so I'm not sure what's going on. Not even sure. Hang on, I'm trying to get my gloves clean and my stick, because if I don't do it now, I won't remember. So I'm gonna clean my gloves so I can reuse them. And I'm gonna clean my stick. All right, so I can take these off and reuse these later. Yeah, it's 2020 internet, what do you expect? So I'm gonna grab my torch and just hit this for 2 quick seconds with my torch. Let's make sure it's under. And then I'm gonna hold it up to the camera and see if you can see it even better. Hang on, frozen again. Are we still froze? Is we frozen? Can y'all even see that? Okay, I see a few little floaties, and it's probably foil. It's probably little remnants of foil. Hang on. Ugh. Because, you know, scrubbing it, it does have like loose little crumbs. So I'm just gonna make sure I don't have any that really stand out and bug me. Any little dust or debris or anything like that little cat hair or something. And I think we're good. I think we are golden. Oh, I love this. Okay. Look at there. It's very annoying today. The interweb is very annoying. So I'm going to hold this up and see if you can see.